I don't mean to open up this can of worms again, but I also can't resist. So a few days ago, I said on Twitter, half joking, that dogs are the most overrated things in the universe. Second, perhaps only to the original Star Wars trilogy. And now I do think that dogs in Star Wars are overrated, but obviously I'm engaging in a bit of joking hyperbole at the same time. But from there, as you might expect, the dog people started coming and they claiming that dogs are wonderful, they're the most loving creatures in the world, and so much more loving than people, and so on. And I simply and calmly explained that dogs are fine, but actually dogs aren't really capable of love in the human sense because they don't have that same awareness of themselves. They don't have the same ability to choose. They're largely instinctive animals. And love requires an awareness of the self. It also requires an ability to choose, so animals just don't have that. And their love for you is based mostly on the fact that you feed them. If they were starving and you were incapacitated or dead, they would just eat you. And that's fine, right? They're dogs. It's okay. Dogs are dogs. No big deal. But if you really think that dogs are more capable of love than humans, I think that says a lot more about you than it does about dogs or other people. It just means that you're a bit of a sociopath. If you actually have people in your life who you really love, like children, a spouse, you would never equate a dog's affection for its caretakers to human love. And that's all I said, right? A basic point, an obvious point, no big deal. Well, as expected, since then I've gotten some very angry messages from dog lovers, including this one, which I have to read because it's so over the top. I have to. No, remember, again, keep in mind why this message was sent, because I just said that about dogs. Dogs are fine, but they're not people. That was basically my point, okay? I never advocated that we go and kill all the dogs in the world or whatever. I never said that. But here's a message from someone. It says, you hating dogs so much makes you a worthless, quote unquote, human being. Go F yourself. Because God knows that's the only way you get any unless you get your poor wife drunk. I feel especially sorry for your kids who have a POS like you as a father. The fact that you reproduced and the fact that you exist is sickening. Now again, that was because I said that dogs are overrated. The person who sent that message, by the way, is a middle-aged woman. Looks to be just kind of like a normal soccer mom based on her picture. And I'm sure that if you bumped into this person on the street, you'd think that this was just a normal person, right? But behind the scenes, she's sending delusional, sexually charged screeds to people on Twitter who don't like dogs enough. And that's one thing I find interesting about what I do for a living, because I get a lot of emails and messages every single day. And I think that they really, they really give you an insight into what people are really like, more so than interacting with people in the real world, bumping into a stranger and exchanging pleasantries with them. It doesn't really give you any sense of what a person's actually like, because even a serial killer is capable of making small talk on an elevator if he doesn't decide to kill you instead. But it's on the internet that people feel free to be themselves, which is why I don't like this delineation sometimes between, that's just how people are on the internet. That's not how they are in real life. Well, no, but those are real people on the internet, right? These are actual human beings who are expressing their points of view on the internet. The internet is just a mode of communication, that's all. So, no, I mean, if you discover that a sizable portion of the people you encounter online are just absolute maniacs and scumbags, unfortunately, that means that there just are a lot of maniacs and scumbags in the world, because almost everybody is online. And this is where people let their true colors shine, because they feel like they have the ability to do that without shame or without fear of reprisal or whatever. So that's the first thing. The other point is that while this woman is obviously over the top, she is representative of a group, and not a very small group either, who are just I mean, I don't know what else you could call them besides dog worshipers. I mean, they really, it seems like there are a lot of people in this country who really do worship dogs. They actually think that dogs are like gods, basically. And I don't even think that that's hyperbole. I think that that's really the case. Now, I have no problem with people who love pets and love animals in general. I think that's great. I have a dog myself. I like my dog, but he's just a dog. As I said, my feelings towards him do not even get close to the ballpark of my feelings for my kids. Like, they're not even in the ballpark next door. They're like on a ballpark on another planet somewhere. Just not even in the, just not anywhere in the vicinity, right? As in, if we were all starving to death and we had no other food, I would, in a second, kill my dog and feed him to my kids, right? I wouldn't even have to think about it. That's no problem. That's where he ranks in the hierarchy. But it's fine. I like having him around, and he's a dog, and it's fine. But there are people, and this woman is a member of this group, obviously, who really do love animals more than they love people, who love their pets even more than they love their own children. And that's the really disturbing thing. That people, at a minimum, they consider their pets to be on an equal playing field with their human children. And these kinds of people exist. And I believe, based on my observations, that it is a growing group. And it's a problem because it's sort of a sign of a dying civilization when everyone starts to worship animals. Like we're reverting back to paganism. All I want to say to this group, if you're in this group of people, all I want to say to you is this. And I'm not talking about people who love their pets. That's fine. If you love your pets more than you love people, and even more or equal to how you love your children, well, so what I would say is, it's not okay to be how you are. It's not okay to like animals more than people. It really isn't. That's actually a very demented and disturbed point of view. And it stems entirely, and this is why it's such a problem, it stems entirely from your selfishness. See, the reason you love animals more than people is because your relationship with your dog is all about you, right? And that's what people like about dogs. Your dog is obsessed with you, follows you around, fawns all over you, literally slobbering all over you, thinks of nothing but you. While you're out of the house, he just wants you to come back, and when you're back, he's so excited. And that's why people like dogs. But human beings aren't like that, right? People aren't going to live every second of every day thinking only of you, pining after you, wanting to be with you. I don't know. I mean, personally, I wouldn't want that kind of attachment from another human being. It's a little too much. Like, I need a little bit of space. But people have their own internal life and their own existence that is not all about you, their own identity. And I think for the people who like dogs more than people, that's why you don't like people as much. Because you've yet to meet a person who will structure their entire existence around you. And you don't like that because you are a complete egomaniac. So much of an egomaniac that, as far as you're concerned, the hierarchy of beings it's like you at number one, and then dogs, and then all other people.